Hi, welcome back to my channel ProBest Projects. I'm Janelle and I'm happy to be sharing with you another time. Today I want to talk to you about flowcharts. If you're involved in the field of project management, business analysis or any other IT related field, then at some point or another you will be required to create a flowchart or some other form of diagram. Today I'm going to be showing you how to create a basic flowchart in Microsoft Visio. Just before we look at that, let's talk a little bit about what a flowchart is and its importance. A flowchart is a type of data representation that displays the sequence of steps for a process or a workflow. It is used as a visual diagrammatic summarization of complex and even simple processes. Flowcharts are important because they, one, help teams to understand the interrelation among procedural steps as well as processes. Two, they allow for easy analysis of processes. Three, they are used as a means of documenting processes. And four, flowcharts help visual learners and other learners too to understand and appreciate processes and the steps involved more easily. In some organizations, process flowcharts are used to communicate the core processes and are made available for all employees to have a common understanding of what these processes are and all the steps that are. Here are a few flowchart symbols that you'll see me using in today's video and what they mean. The Terminator. This is represented by an oval shape, and this is the shape that's used to start and to end a flowchart. Next, the process symbol. This is represented by a rectangle, and it is used to show the procedural steps that are involved in your process. Next, we have the decision symbol, which is represented by a diamond, and it is used where there are 2 or 3 alternative routes that can be taken. The predefined process, which is also called a sub-process. This process, the predefined process, which as the name suggests, is used to reference a process that already exists and was already documented. And of course, our arrows, and these are used to show the interrelations taking place. We'll be looking at how to create a basic flowchart diagram using Microsoft Visio, and this application I have is Microsoft Visio 2013. When you open the application, you are given these templates from which you can choose the best one dependent on the chart that you are seeking to create. I'm going to be using this basic diagram template to create our basic flowchart diagram. So I click on that and I am given the option to select the units that I want to use, and I'm going to be using metric units. I simply select create. You're taken to this screen where you can now begin to design your own flowchart. I want you to just have a look at all the different options and the toolbar that is here with everything that we need. We won't be going through all of them in this video, but you will be given a basic understanding of how to navigate and find what's most important for creating your flowchart. Alright, so let's select the best toolbar here that will have all the symbols, all the shapes that we need to create our flowchart. We can click on more shapes, and this brings up a list of options from which we can select. We're going to look for the flowchart shapes. Click on flowchart, and here is an option for basic flowchart shapes. That's what we're looking for this exercise. So we click on that, and we see the shapes have appeared. So let's begin to design our flowchart. I'm going to be looking at the process of creating a YouTube video. Well, that's my process. I'm going to be sharing what my process is from start to finish, and I hope that at the end you'll get the concept and be able to create your own flowcharts for whatever the process you're looking at. Simply click and drag to get your shape on screen. Remember, this shape represents the start and end, the terminator. So we start every flowchart with this single symbol. So we have our start shape, and let me go ahead and label it. In order to label your shape, you double click on it, or you can right click and select edit text. Okay, so let's write start. Let's make the font a little bigger so we can highlight and use our font options here to make the text larger. Start. Next, I'm going to be dragging a shape for a process. And for this process, I'm going to be typing in, it says create content for YouTube video. So that's the first process in my process of creating a YouTube video. I typically prepare my content and have it in a document for review before I do any shooting, any recording. I create the content. The next thing I do is and I can simply drag again, click and drag, double click, record video footage. So that's the next thing I do. Record video footage. After I do that, it's time for me to make a decision as to whether or not my YouTube video will require that I do some audio, some recording of audio separate and apart from the video. So this is the shape that we use when we meet upon a decision. And this decision is, let me type it in, double click, audio recording required, somewhat of a question, we're making a decision. And to connect the arrows, you click on the connector icon on the toolbar. So I click on that, and as you see, as I hover over the shape, it's highlighted to tell me that yes, I'm ready to connect. I'm ready to connect this shape with this shape. So we simply click on where it's highlighted and drag down to the next connector point to connect these two shapes. We'll do the same for the other and the same for the decision, or to the decision box. All right, so we're ready to make a decision. Is audio recording required? If it is required, let me uncheck connector and put it back on the pointer tool so that we can get rid of that functionality. If audio recording is required, then I'll simply go ahead and record audio. It is important that you label the lines from your decision box to the other processes so that we can know what each of the processes represent. For example, we record audio only if audio is required. So in this instance, we're going to be using yes, labeling our connector line with the word yes. In order to label the line, you just double click on the line similarly to how you add text to the shape. Double click on the line and you're able to type in yes. So this is how it reads. Is audio recording required? If yes, record audio. However, if no, what are we going to do? Now, if I need no audio, then I can just continue with my process. And in my process, the only other thing that comes after this is pretty much to just do some video editing. I already have a predefined process of how I go about editing my videos. So I'm going to be using the sub process, the predefined process. That shape is what I'm going to be using right here. So let me double click to add text. Video editing. That's the name of that process. Let me just increase the font. And of course, connect my line. And this one is going to be labeled no. I'm going to be making it smaller so that I don't start a new page. Alright. So let's read what we have so far. Is audio recording required? If yes, record audio. If not, then just go to the process for video editing. But what do we do after recording audio? After recording audio, we'll still need to do some editing of the same video, merging everything together, cutting out what we don't need, merging the audio with text. All of that still falls in the process of video editing. So right after we record audio, we're going to still connect these two processes. All right. After I do video editing, what comes next? We're just going to be reviewing the entire video to see if there are any errors, any glitches, anything that needs to be removed or amended. We're just going to do a review of the video in its entirety. So let me double click to label. Review full video. But we're not finished just yet. And I realize that I'm running out of space, so I'm going to be using this opportunity to just show you how I can increase the size of the page that I'm using in Microsoft Visio. So to do that, I'm going to go to the Design tab. Let's look in Orientation. I'm already using the Landscape orientation, but I want to increase the size of my page. Now it's on the size A4. let's increase it to legal size so that I'll have some more space. I'm going to be minimizing this a little bit. If you hover over this little icon, you'll see that it says minimize, so that we can have a full view of our flowchart. And I'm also going to be zooming out so that we can see more clearly. All right, so after video editing, we review full video. We want to make another decision. After I've reviewed the full video, we're going to be checking if errors are identified. So errors identified. Let me use the connector. If errors have been identified, then we're going to simply make required changes. Let's make the size of this text bigger and then add our connector line. It is important that you connect the lines in the direction that you want them to go. So if we were connecting from make required changes and you want the arrow to go down to errors identified, then you would drag from up top here down to the bottom. However, we are going up. We are moving from errors identified to this being one of the options. If yes, then we make required changes. So it's important that you pull or connect the lines in that direction. So let's double click and label yes. So if yes, make required changes. Let me uncheck the connector. But if not, then we'll just go ahead and upload video to YouTube. And we connect this line and double click to label. If no, upload video to YouTube. But I've left out something, and I want you to just look and see if you can identify what it is that I've left out. So make required changes has just been left hanging. It needs to be connected to one of these other procedural steps. We're going to be connecting make required changes to review full video. It's sort of a loop, right? After you make required changes, then you're going to review the full video again, just to ensure that you didn't browse over anything. And then if errors are identified, you'll have to fix, and the process just goes over and over again until you have a perfect video. And that's when you're going to be uploading it to YouTube. So we're going to be connecting make required changes down to review full video. And there we have it. After we upload the video to YouTube, that is simply where our process ends. The end. And of course, can't do without our connector. So I spent some time tidying up this video, just ensuring that everything looks neat, that our boxes are the correct sizes, and that the text size is appropriate for the size of the sheets. Alright, so we have this final image as our basic flowchart image. I want to show you how I apply a design and different color themes to just let this chart look a little bit more exciting. We simply go to design, and in design in Microsoft Visio, there are a number of different options that you can select depending on how pretty you want your flowchart to look, depending on what purpose you're creating the flowchart for. Now I'm all for color, so I'm going to be using this one. And as you see, when you click on it, it just kind of color codes your shapes. So you see where the terminators are the same color, the decision box are that same color as well, but the processes have their own color, and of course the predefined process, that sub process, is given its own color. Thanks for watching. I really hope that this video has helped you and that you will now be able to go on to create a basic flowchart all on your own. If you'd like for me to create other videos with specific diagrams, then drop a comment below and let me know what that diagram is, and I'll be sure to respond to your request. Until next time, bye.